Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. And this is Tristan. He's a Corgi. We're going to try to reposition this dog today. I don't know if it's going to work. There you go, Bess. You can see the camera. Yeah, the mailman might be out there. I have to be on duty. So, today, it's Friday, and we are having cloudiness, but still beautiful warm weather. When I opened the door this morning, I was like, oh, this is what it smelled like in Hawaii and the Caribbean. That humid summer smell that I love. Tristan, he's still falling. I can't hold this dog up. So today I want to talk a little bit about an event that happened on Monday, which was National Therapy Dog Day. And I have had lots of therapy dogs, not this one, but of course everyone's dog provides them with personal therapy. He says, this is hard for me. I like to stand the other way. Here, get your buns up. And so we can't discount the fact that every dog is somebody's therapy dog. I mean, they keep us from really losing it some days, and they give us so much love. How can we not think of our dogs as therapists for us, and our cats and our horses? Certainly my ex-husband, I remember him saying, you need to go to the barn. You've had 2 days off, because, you know, with that much physical exercise and being with my horses and, you know, really finding the thing that feeds my soul was important. And when I had too much work to do at the boarding school where we were, and I didn't see the horses, that's when I started to unravel. And the same is true when we don't get to spend enough time with our pets for a lot of people. So let's just review what a therapy dog is. There are many episodes of Conversations with a Corgi about therapy dogs, service dogs, emotional support animals, and all of these different things. There's a whole section of dogs with jobs, and you can review those if you'd like. But generally, a therapy dog is a dog that goes with its person to a place to work with that person with a stranger. And they aren't necessarily supplying what would strictly be called a medical need. Some therapy dogs go to libraries and have children read to them, and that encourages reading, and it brings a sense of calm and lowers your heart rate and blood pressure when you're in the room with the pet trying to do the reading. And it can really, dogs are non-judgmental, so it can really encourage a new reader or someone struggling with reading to do a good job when they're reading to a non-judgmental pet. And other therapy dogs go to hospitals. A lot of them work on children's units. However, I would like to encourage therapy dogs going to children's unit to not forget the rest of the hospital. Seniors love pets, and often their pet is their most significant other in their life. And if they end up in the hospital, they miss their pet deeply. And having a visit from a dog or a cat or a guinea pig, there's lots of therapy animals of every kind, can really boost the spirits of a senior who's missing their pet. And in fact, some places will now allow family members to bring in your own pet to visit you, as long as they're not unruly, which most seniors' pets are pretty calm because they're also seniors. And so pets provide therapy in hospital settings. And as I've mentioned before, there's a group of golden retrievers, and it's through the golden retriever breed, I think, that they organize. But they do therapy work at big disasters. They went to Parkland, Florida. They've gone to Sandy Hook, and they come in a group of like 7 or 8 dogs, and they are just there to be loved and hugged and listen to the stories of the people that have been impacted by a disaster of some kind. And these dogs are wonderful. And they're a great group. They fly all over the country together, and it really is, if you have a golden retriever, it's a great thing to do what these dogs are doing. And then of course there are other kinds of therapy dogs that may go to a special ed classroom to help children learn. There are therapy dogs that visit people in assisted living facilities, and even therapy miniature horses. My mom has taken her Minnie to nursing homes and assisted living facilities, and people love to see the horses. I remember we will always chat about this. One lady said, a horse? That's so big. You can't bring a horse in here. And then this Minnie came in, and the woman kept saying, that's so big. That's a horse. And he Lucky's like up to the lady's lap in her wheelchair. It was kind of funny that she kept saying, "A horse, that's so big," when this was a miniature horse. So lots of different kind of animals do therapy work, and that's why Monday was National Therapy Animal Day. It was for all of the animals that provide therapy. In fact, there are even chickens in nursing homes in England and some other places, Australia, that not only do they provide eggs and some activity to go out and take care of the chickens, but the chickens come inside and people can visit with them in this couple of nursing homes where they have chickens. And people don't always remember, but chickens are very smart. You can train a chicken to play a tune on a piano in a matter of hours, especially if you use clicker training. So chickens are pretty darn smart if we remember how to relate to them. I mean, because they're birds, we don't always relate to them as easily as we do to dogs, who are desperately trying all day long to relate to us. So there's many kinds of therapy animals. The most common certification for this is through Therapy Dogs International, which is called TDI. They have a big website. It's a nationwide organization. Lots of testers and groups in anybody's area are working with TDI. The Delta Society also tests and certifies therapy dogs. And there are a few other places, and you might even have some local ones in your area. But the test is pretty straightforward. The dog has to remain calm in a variety of situations, loud noises, walkers and wheelchairs going by, calm with other dogs. Your dog, one of the most important things is that your dog won't jump up unless you ask him. Not so important when you have a Chihuahua jumping on your leg, but if you have a Golden Retriever jumping onto the lap of someone who's just had a hip replacement or a knee replacement, that can be a big issue. So it's really important that your dog know where to keep his paws. And in some facilities, you can put the dog on the bed next to somebody that's in a hospital, but in some facilities you can't. And in that case, a taller dog that can just have his head resting on the bed for the person to pet can be a real benefit. When the dogs are allowed on the beds, a smaller dog is, again, a real benefit. When I was working with one of my clients who was in a nursing home after initial head trauma, I was able to bring my dog Comet, who was a great therapy dog, to visit her, and she really responded to having an animal in the room. She had fallen off her horse. She'd always had dogs and horses and cats in her life, and to have been in different facilities for upwards of 9 or 10 months without an animal was really hard for her. And I remember her mother even taking, because I would sometimes come there from the barn, taking my riding gloves or a sweater or a sweatshirt I had had on and letting this person smell the horses, and how happy that made her. So therapy animals can come in any size and shape, and they can provide a variety of benefits. One of the things Comet used to do was walk with people a little bit at the nursing home where I was. They could tie his leash to their walker, and he would take very careful, slow steps and wait for them to catch up, and he would walk with them around the building. And again, important that he be a registered therapy dog in a situation like that, because most people would say, oh my God, don't tie a dog's leash to a walker, because what if he sees a squirrel and he's out of there? No, a good therapy dog will not see a squirrel and run. They're tuned in to the person they're working with, and that is their main priority. And both Comet and my prior dog, Winston, did remarkable things. I had a guy, he was holding the leash with his walker, but Winston got in front of him and refused to cross the street. And there was a big accident in that intersection just seconds after we could not move Winston. So dogs, therapy dogs, can do amazing things right up to saving a person's life. And a lot of people at one of the big nursing homes where I worked, they had therapy dogs come in every Friday. And a lot of people really lived for the days to see those dogs. And I saw lots of people in their process of passing away say, well, I have to say goodbye to whatever dog it was when he visits on Friday, so I'm going to be here through the weekend, because they wanted to see their relatives as well. So therapy dogs play important roles in people's lives. And certainly, I remember when I was in California teaching a craniosacral class, a woman brought a guinea pig in a basket. And one of the issues with teaching these classes in cities is that you can't take animals on public transportation and taxis in some places, and it's very difficult when you do, and blah, blah, blah. So she had brought this guinea pig in this cute basket, which she decorated with flowers and ribbons in different colors to coordinate with the holidays. very sweet little fluffy guinea pig, made cute little squeaking noises. And that pig was a great therapy animal. And this person was very active bringing that guinea pig to different nursing homes and things. And a lot of people really responded having that little piggy in his basket so that they didn't have to worry about anything. You know, he was contained, but he loved to be petted. And he had that long silky hair. So when she learned T-Touch hair slides and was able to teach people how to do that with him, that was a real help in their therapy practice. So if you have a dog who's good with other dogs and who really likes people, like my little friend Coco up the street, right, Coco? She loves people. She would be a great therapy dog. If you have the extra time and you have a dog who loves people and is pretty calm, a lot of therapy dogs are older, they're over 6 or 5 years old, it would be a great thing to volunteer and join a therapy dog group in your area. One golden retriever I know, who is not involved with the other golden retrievers and should be, he loves to dress his dog in different military uniforms and bring the dog to the nursing home where the veterans stay. And he's a very upbeat guy. He's a veteran himself, older guy, and you know, he just does incredible things to help the guys in the veterans home. He brings pins for them from the Marines and the Army and the Navy and the Air Force and the Coast Guard and the reserves and things like that. And his dog has so many costumes, and she's a really good-natured, wonderful dog. And he spends a lot of extra time bringing his dog around, and he's retired. And that is a good time to do therapy work. One of the things to keep in mind, though, if you're bringing your dog to nursing homes, the risk of health problems for your dog is far greater than the risk of health problems for the person they're visiting. So you need to wash your dog frequently. When Comet was doing therapy work, he got a bath every other week. And in some places, they might ask him to have a bath weekly. I think that's a little much for a dog, but Comet was a really clean dog and he got brushed all the time, so that kept him clean. But for instance, in one place where my dogs were, we had a scabies outbreak in one of the floors, and that's a skin disease that's pretty highly contagious. And a lot of the bugs live on the floor. And I remember when they had to disinfect like all the baseboards and the little cracks in the building to get rid of it. We had a person come in that just was, you know, practically dying from this thing, these bugs from scabies. And so the whole place, you know, huge facility, had to be completely cleaned. But scabies can affect your dog. So for that time period, my dogs did not go to work. And a lot of other therapy dogs took some time off. So it's important to be aware of things like that. Also yourself, if the flu is going around and somebody may be getting over it. Nursing homes are not, people in nursing homes are not always as clean as you might be back in your home. So they might not have a Kleenex handy. They might wipe their nose like this and then pet your dog. So be really clear about kissing your dog after you've been to a nursing home or someplace like that where there might be sick people with your dog. Comet often got a bit of a wash up after he was doing visiting in places where people were really medically complex, just for my own safety. And of course, wash the feet. When dogs need their feet washed a lot. In this case, for Comet and Winnie, I just used all natural baby wipes and wiped their feet off when we left the building and then threw them out there. So that way their feet were not bringing anything home to me or them. So really be aware of your dog's health when you're going into these facilities. And a lot of things like the scabies outbreak were kept on the QT. So you might not even know when you're going in when you've got a problem like that. Of course, the ward where the problem was really happening was sort of off limits to everyone, and you might be on another wing on the other side of the building. So do you really need to know about it? Not so much. But always check with whoever's certifying your dog to do therapy work about some precautions you can take to keep you and your dog healthy. This work is so valuable. There are so many incredible moving stories. I remember just a photograph on Corgi Nation that somebody posted of their dog in an airport going up to someone who had just lost their dog. And so even though that dog may not have been a certified therapy dog working in a facility, that dog was still doing therapy. And all of our dogs do that for people. Dogs are built to relate to us, right, Tristan? And so I like to honor the therapy animals every year. And of course, we were at our other job on Monday, so we couldn't do it then, and we had so much going on. So take a moment today and thank all the therapy dogs that have come before you and will come after you, and consider, if you have an older pet and you have time, becoming a therapy dog trainer and handler yourself. And there might be some facilities in your area that might be ideal and fun for you to bring your dog to. I personally love to bring my dog to libraries and have people read to them, because I think it really helps. And in fact, one thing you might check into is some places have adult literacy programs, and those people often welcome a therapy dog to come in. And generally, therapy dogs with reading programs work with children, but the adult literacy programs often are welcoming to bringing in a therapy dog for a reading group. It's just a different thing for those people to help them read. It lowers your anxiety when you're reading to a dog, and for an adult learner, that can be a big thing. So, thanks for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Today we were a little late because I had to dye my hair. Tomorrow we might be a little early because Tristan and I are off to a big march and celebration in town. It's also Derby Day, so we might have a special edition of Conversations with a Corgi, but we might be a little earlier than 9:30, our typical weekend time, because I have to be running out the door around 9:30, so we'll probably be around the same time we were today. So thanks for joining us today. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy the warm weather. I think, as my friend said, we can finally put the snow shovels away in most of the areas around me, so that's pretty exciting. In fact, I don't usually take them off of their little storage area on my porch, but I think to say goodbye to winter, good riddance, they may be moving into the garage today, because I just don't want to think about snow anymore. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Oh, Biscuit, come back. We might even be able to do these episodes outside in the coming weeks if it stops raining every morning. That weather. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great day. I've got a lot of work to do today to get ready for this radio show I'm doing with my sister. It's so complicated. All right. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.